I'm going to show you the dashboard and how you can set up a team or session for yourself using the coupon code that you should have received by email. And I'm just going to show you beyond that a little bit, like how does the dashboard work and how can you use it to work with either individuals, pairs, or groups of people. So I'm going to share my screen just like John did. And if you have any questions, please just ask. You don't have to raise your hand or whatever you prefer. I am happy to answer anything in between. So I am here on mindtimetools.com. And from here, mindtimetools.com, I can go and log into my dashboard. Before I do that, I just want to point out that here we have documentation that you can find here, which is a lot of information on how to use the dashboard. So if you want some extra support, have a look here. And if you can't find it, just please be in touch with us. So here I am going to log into the dashboard and I'm going to use this account. So this is my, let's call it home screen. And here we can see that there are 5 tiles available to me. So I have resources under this tile, and I'm not going to show it today to you, but I want to point out that there is a lot of information behind this tile. Everything you need to know to get going with MindTime, to basically look at videos or read more on MindTime, or how to use the elements inside the dashboard, which we call the client-facing tools. It's all under here. So this is a really important tile. And then what I'm going to do now is just set up a session. So I'm going to quick start. And then as you can see right now, I have 331 keys in my bank. So I'm good to go. I can set up lots of sessions. So let's call this session Tuesday test session. And as you can see, by the way, I'm going to set up a team session. I can also set up a session for pairs or individuals. So if I'm just working with one person, I would select the individual. If I'm working with 2 people, I would select pair. But in this case, I want to create a team. So the team type I can select here. Let's say that this is a startup. And there are 4 people in my session. So I'm just going to click here on 4, and then you can see that here 4 lines appear. And then what I do is I'm going to fill in a deadline. So let's say that my session is next week. So let's say it's on the 3rd of October. So then I'd like to have people take the survey, let's say 5 days prior. So I'm going to select the 28th as the deadline. This is not like a hard deadline, nothing really happens, but this date appears in the email that the system is going to send out. So the system is going to send out as an invitation to take the survey, and the date will appear here. And so that people know when they should take the survey by. And the system also allows for when the deadline has passed and certain people might not have taken the survey, then you can send them a reminder email. So then all I need to do is just put people's names and email addresses in here. So let's just say that I'm in my session, John is in my session, Irene is in my session, and Anu is in my session. And then I'm just going to fill in the email addresses here. Well, I don't have all your email addresses, and that's not important. I'm not actually going to do it now. But if I had filled in these fields, then all I need to do is create session. Just a very quick comment. You can see that I am leaving the first column empty. That is because in this case, I want to assign everyone a new key. I want everyone to take the survey. If someone who is joining my session already has a key because they've taken the survey in the past, then I can enter their key in here, and then they don't have to take the survey. They're not getting an invite. So in this case, we're just assuming that no one has taken the survey. And so then all I need to do is click on create session. And then the system is going to send out a survey invitation to everyone. Here's my summary of what I just did, that I set up a session. And then all I have to do is go to my session details, and this is what we call my session screen. So here I can see an overview basically of what I just did. So here are the names, and then I can see that the system sent an invite to me, not to the other people, but I can still do that right now if I want. Here I can see the deadline that I gave people. And once someone has taken a survey, this field here, survey taken, becomes populated. A date appears, the date that they took the survey on. So right now you can see no one has taken the survey yet, but maybe tomorrow if I go back in and I look, then I can see, oh, look, 2 people already took the survey. And hopefully everyone took the survey before the deadline, and then all fields are filled in here. So let me just grab let's look at a session where people have actually taken the survey. So I can go to my sessions, and that will give me an overview of all the sessions that are available to me that I have set up in the past. So let's get the sample session. I'm just going to open it by clicking here on sample session. And then here I can see that actually everyone in my sample session has taken the survey. And I can check that by clicking here on results, which just gives me a sneak peek of everyone's thinking results. So this is the map that John showed earlier. And as you can see, what I did is I also added myself to this particular session because I'm the facilitator. And I not only want to map the people in my session, but I also want to add myself to it. So I've added myself. And then what I also did is I highlighted myself. And I will show you how that works, what happened, and why I did that. So let's say that now it's the day of my session, and I want to present to my session prior to, let's say I have a 4-hour training, and the training is about leadership, but I want to start this training starting with the 22 golden minutes, which is just acknowledging everyone in the room, getting everyone on the same page, and giving everyone permission to tell me what they need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the session master key here. And then I'm going back to my home screen of the dashboard. And here you can see we have these 5 buttons. And so these are the client-facing tools and programs that are available to you in the dashboard. So these 3 are what we call client-facing tools, and you can open them and you can load the session master key in there. That will populate the results, and I will show you that in just a minute. And 22 golden minutes and Think in Sync are 2 programs that you can run. And so 22 golden minutes, well, the name already says it takes about 22 minutes, but it could be 15 minutes, it could be 30 minutes. And Think in Sync is a team building program, which takes about 2 to 4 hours, depending on how much time you want to spend on it. But for now, I'm going to open 22 golden minutes. So here it is. And then all I need to do is copy the master key here in this field. And then I'm going to load the results. So there's 2 parts to 22 golden minutes. There's the presenting the framework and working with the 2 dynamics which you can do with the group during your session. But prior to my session, I can already look at the results and prepare myself as the facilitator to know who's going to be in the room. So the first map that I'm going to use just to prepare myself is the group culture map. And so this is just an overview where I can see the average scores on future, past, and present for the whole group. So I can see that, okay, so 54, 47, and 41. This is quite a balanced group as a whole. There's a bit more focus on present thinking, as Gareth already also established from looking at the map. But overall, okay, I know from here that I need to tend to all 3 perspectives rather equally. And then this is what is really interesting, because here I have an overview of all the individual thinking styles and scores of everyone in my group. And as you can see, I am here at the bottom. So this is going to help me understand, first of all, what is my thinking style relative to all other people's thinking styles that are going to be in the room, and how can I prepare for that? So let's start with my future thinking, which is strongest. So I score 64 out of 100 on future thinking. And so if I look here at everyone in the room, then this person, number 4, attendee number 6, 7, a lot of people have a similar amount of future thinking as I have. However, there's also people that don't have a lot of future thinking at all. So for example, attendee number 1 has very little future thinking compared to me. Same goes with attendee 9 and very much 11 and 14 as well. So I know that if I show up with too much future thinking in my presentation, in my design, the way I present the information, these people might actually not resonate with that at all. And they might like maybe sit back, lean back, and, you know, wonder when I might start presenting the things that they are looking for. So for example, attendee number 1 doesn't have a lot of future thinking, but he or she does have a lot of present thinking. So first I'm going to look back and look at my own thinking style again. So I have 40 on present thinking, which is not nothing, but it's not a high amount. And I can see there's actually quite a few people in my group that have more present thinking than I am. So I need to make sure when I am working with this group that I'm going to tend to providing structure as well. At the beginning of my session, say, okay, so this is what we're going to do today. We're starting with 22 golden minutes, then this is the plan. And at the end of the day, the objective is that you leave with this. And I am going to make sure that these people have an understanding of how they can use the knowledge that I try to convey in their day-to-day life. And finally, just quickly looking at past thinking. So you can see I have almost no past thinking. So this is really a blind spot of mine. And so this is where I need to probably pay the most attention because as you can see, everyone in the room has more past thinking than I do. So this is where I really need to think prior to my session. Okay, so how am I going to make sure that I'm going to provide people with enough details, enough data? How do I make sure that if I get questions, which I might perceive as being critical, which they're not, people are just asking for more information because that's what they need. How am I going to make sure that I can answer those questions? And it also tells me that when people ask me questions, which I might perceive as quite difficult or critical questions, that it's not personal. This is just something that people need. It's nothing to do with me as a person. So, and especially attendee number 14, of course, I need to pay a lot of attention to this person to make sure that this person feels seen and that I am going to give them what they need. So I need to work quite hard here in this session to make up for my lack of past thinking. Okay, so I'm going to stop.
Sorry, one more question on that. So how long would you say would take me on average to prepare for a session once I have all the attendees taken the assessment?
That's a good question. I think when you're just talking about preparing for 22 golden minutes, the first time you do it, you need a bit of preparation. First of all, to go into the dashboard and look at the resources available, watch the videos so that you can prepare for how you would present the 22 golden minutes. And then you might, I don't know, take 15 minutes to look at this and interpret and think about what that means and how you can ask people in your session to tell them what you need. So you might want to think about, how am I going to invite people to after I have presented this to tell me what they need. However, if you want to also use this information to design the training that you might give afterwards, then that's a little bit hard for me to answer. Let's say that I want to train, I am giving 4 hours of training on leadership after this. Let's say that I did it last week, but it was for a group that had a lot of future thinking in it, which was very easy for me to do. And I could just riff and just improvise a lot and just use the energy in the room that was there. Then that particular session might not have taken me so much to prepare, but now, because I see that I have a lot of past thinking in the room, I might want to redesign the 4-hour training on leadership. So that might actually take me quite a bit of work to prepare. So there's two answers to this question, really.
Thanks.
Anyone else have any questions? But first, I'm going to look at the overall group map. So this is the composition of the group that I'm working with. And you can see here this red dot, that's me. So when I'm presenting 20 golden minutes, I would explain to a group that everyone who's in my session is actually here on this map. So this is us as a group. And this is me as the presenter or the facilitator. And as John just did, I would explain what past is, what present is, and what future is. So I would take a little bit of time to explain the framework so that people have an understanding of this map. They already took the survey and they have read their report. So therefore, they probably already know a little bit about MindTime. So the second part of the 22 golden minutes is talking about these two dynamics that John also showed. So which is the yes-no dynamic, which is the line that we draw from north to south over the triangle. And so now I'm getting a really good idea of what the dynamic in this particular group might be. So what I'm seeing here is that the majority of the people are on the yes side of the no. Some people are like basically exactly on the line. And then I have 3 people who are on the no side of the line. So I can see that this group, I can tell by this composition that this group will tend to say yes more easily than it will maybe take time to slow down and reflect on things. So as a facilitator, when I show this map, I will use it by saying, okay, so look, I can see that as a group, as a whole, we will tend to say yes. However, there's also 3 people here in the group that need more information. They need more structure. And so it's really important for me as the facilitator to acknowledge that and to also acknowledge my own thinking style. So I'm here. So I tend to say yes quite easily. And my pace of presenting is probably quite relatively fast. Because I have a mix of future and present thinking. So I have quite a bit of enthusiasm and I will bring some structure in, but I tend not to bring in a lot of details, facts, past thinking. So I need to be aware that if I don't pay attention to what people on the other side of the line need, that I might lose them, that they might not resonate with what I'm saying. And maybe at the end of the training, they go away and they didn't really feel that they learned anything. So this is just a quick example of how you can present the yes-no dynamic, talk about what that means for the group that is present and how your thinking style will also affect what you're conveying, what you're teaching, how you show up in the room. And by saying, look, this is who I am, this is my thinking style, and I know that there are many people in the room that have a very different thinking style than me and that have different needs, you can give people permission to tell you what they need. So you might ask these people very specifically, please, if you need more information, ask me. If you need me to slow down, tell me. And the same goes for the concrete abstract dynamic. So if we draw a line from east to west or horizontally across the triangle, then we also get a very good sense of how this group might act in a different way. So anyone is there anyone who'd like to maybe share their thoughts on what you think, how this group will behave given this dynamic? Gareth, what do you think?
Well, we've got kind of 5 people in the abstract space and then another 6 in the concrete, and then a couple on the line. So, you know, they're kind of a balanced. The sort of intensity, I suppose, that you know, there's more people further up in the concrete space than there's just sort of one person who's in that future space who's very close to the bottom there. So you know, they may have this a bit of balance, but I think, you know, the intensities of the concrete group might take over a little bit. So you might find that they're driven towards that implementation, and maybe that future person in particular might be wanting to really dwell in the abstract and can't, because there's always this push up, because those other people are kind of quite close to the line as well, so they can probably span it a little bit.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I totally agree. Yes, indeed. So I think the majority of the people in here will tend to make things concrete, tangible. They want to make things real. And especially this person will be very driven towards order, plans, making things as tangible, executing on them. And then the people here on the south side of the line, they then tend to indeed want to stick to keeping things abstract, whether that is ideas or philosophizing, thinking about theories. But especially this person, indeed, as you said, Gareth, this person will not be very likely to want to make things real, execute, make a plan. So we can say that this person and this person, they might actually have quite a hard time to collaborate, to understand each other. They might frustrate each other actually quite a bit. Luckily, we have a few people here in the middle of the triangle that might provide the glue and the bridge between these two people. And so the people in the middle might be able to say to the more abstract thinkers, okay, look, it's great that we came up with ideas, and it's good that we really think things through. However, if we want to reach our goals collectively, then we need to move the conversation out of the abstract, and we have to now start thinking about how do we actually make this happen. And so maybe now is the time for you to sit back and hand the baton over to the other people. So by using these two dynamics and which are really very simple ways of presenting how we are different from each other, you can get a group to really understand that we all have value to bring, and it's very important to recognize that value, and that, you know, there might be different people in different times in the process that might have a certain contribution to bring, and that we need to give each other space and understanding so that people can show up and share their value with each other. So last thing I want to just say about this map is, as you can see here, I am basically on the line. So I am pretty good at moving between the abstract and concrete. Although if it's getting really abstract, people here on this line, then I will probably go like, okay, guys, nice, but can we now think about how to make it real? And the same goes with if people are, if I'm in an environment where there's which is highly structured, then I might get I might start to feel uncomfortable, because I also have a tendency to, you know, keep ideating the minutes. But if I grab a session master key from an individual, so let's say in this example, I would be coaching myself. So I'm just grabbing my own master key here, and then I go back to the home screen. And as I said earlier, we have here these client-facing tools for individuals, pairs, and teams. So if I click here on individual, I do exactly the same thing as I did with the previous session, but now I'm just going to load the data for one person. And so here you can see that when you're working with one person, then you have all these elements available to you. Here, for example, these are the individual scores. Oh, maybe, there we go. So if you're working with an individual, you can show them their individual scores and explain that. And then, of course, here's the location on the map again. But we also have all other kinds of tools which help you to have the conversation and frame the conversation, depending on what you want to zoom in on. So let's say, for example, the value you bring is a beautiful map, which is just giving some structure to how you can show someone that different thinking styles show different kinds of values. And so here you can help people to form language around how they show up in the world and better understand themselves. And then here
in fact, if I could add that these are like conversation starters. So the wonderful thing is, and as professional coaches, facilitators, you know, the idea here is to get the person talking about their inner world and actually bringing it into reality, into language. So these are great ways of starting conversation and asking them to then build on what it says in how does that apply to you and what does that mean in your life? And then you get them very much engaged in a simple framework. Sorry, carry on, Mirta.
Yeah, absolutely right. So indeed, as you said, so these are just layers of information that we're placing around the triangles. Learning style, what may strain your relationships. You know, if you are over here, then you have quite a need for spontaneity, but maybe your partner is over here and they have a need to slow things down. They have a need for truth. And so then you can show people, and this is actually also, just stop sharing again. So these are really beautiful insights that you then get to generate, where people might respond by saying, oh, I finally, now I understand, after 15 years of marriage, why we always get into the same dynamic, why we always have this same rub. And of course, as a facilitator, as a coach, these are the juicy conversations probably you want to have. And these are the beautiful insights that you can provide just using these tools.